All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. All right, want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, let's talk about the dude that, and I'm not going to mention his name because, you know, let me explain something. Right now in the world is changing, and we know that the world is changing. But right now, it's all about whether or not you're going to be a good citizen of the world. Are you going to be a good world citizen? And then in all of that, I always have to go back to the teachings, because if you don't know thyself and to thy own self be true, right? But if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your origins, if you don't know anything about who you are, then you make like real bad mistakes. True, you make bad mistakes. So the police in Atlanta, they say that the dude that shot up the 8 people, that killed the 8 people in various Asian spas, that he just had a bad day. So that's an excuse. I mean, I couldn't believe that he said that. First of all, I was like, what? He had a bad day? Yeah, yeah. What about the 8 people that are dead? And what about their families? They had a really bad day. And so that goes to our theory, the universal theory that's out there all the time, that that when a black person commits a heinous crime, all of a sudden they're demonic, they're evil. They show all these pictures of them. They even put them in, they darken the pictures to make them look sinister and macabre and diabolical and everything else. But when it's a white person, and this dude had on a bullet. I don't know if he had the bulletproof vest on or if they put it on him so that nobody would harm him. Dude had on a bulletproof vest. So now, the next problem with the whole situation is, so then Asians start filling up the internet, talk about, protect Asians. Well, everybody needs to be protected. Nobody, the concept of mutual exclusivity, the concept that everything is mutually exclusive to everything else, is a bad concept. Why? Because are you going to be a good citizen? See, because everybody is on the earth together. Black folks ain't on a different earth than Asian folks, and Asian folks ain't on a different earth than white folks. And why do I say that? Because if you go back to the early teachings of certain people, you will discover what I go back and look at some of my videos, go back and look and learn, or go to somebody else and look and learn, but find out that, look, there is humankind, there's humans, and there is mankind. And there's a big difference. See, the folks that commit most of those real heinous crimes, those are people that are part of mankind. Humankind has been taught or indoctrinated into the behavior. Just like, for example, like when Trump was talking, and I remember that I said this a while back. I said, well, you add up. I mean, since I've been alive, the number of instances where violence or threats of violence were used against China, or except for Vietnam, were basically anybody that was Oriental or that was in the Asian realm. Asians don't start wars. They don't. Japan started Pearl Harbor because they was getting their butt kicked. The United States, to this day, mankind, the people that we call mankind, or Caucasians, or whatever you want to call them, they're the ones that dropped the atomic bomb. They're the only race of people that have dropped. We're always talking about we're afraid of nuclear weapons. Why? We're afraid because of what we did to other people. Oh no, we can't, we can't let Korea, we can't let North Korea get a bomb. We can't let them get a bomb. But if you go and you really talk to them, like Dennis Rodman, and I, hey, a Dennis Rodman sighting. But if Dennis Rodman goes over there and he's like, we just want to protect ourselves. That's, a lot of people are making bombs because they're afraid of the United States, not because the United States is afraid of them. And then all of this stuff with the Asians started. The reason why mankind and humankind can be at odds with Asians is because of the propaganda and the rhetoric espoused by Donald Trump. Because every time he went on television, or every time he had the media's attention, what did he call it? He called it the China flu, the China virus, and even some names worse than that I don't even want to say because it's wrong. And the funny part about this is about 4 years ago, and when I was maybe 5, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I was in Greenville, South Carolina, and I was making my side hustle was like doing runs from the airport, and these were like private planes, right? And so the Chinese, they used to fly in there all the time because why? Because the BMW plants and the Volvo plant and some other plants, and Mercedes, I forgot, Mercedes-Benz had a plant there too, right? So they were flying in because what? They were trying to get these manufacturers to use their car parts. And so but they wanted private, what they call, probably in New York, they call black car transportation. So this Chinese guy, he paid me like some ridiculous amount of money to drive him around for a week, right? And so we started, of course, because I run my mouth all the time. So we started talking. And that's exactly what he was talking about. He's like, man, we ain't trying to start no war. We trying to make money. We trying to get paid. And that's how come they got all these contracts and everything, because the United States wants to use force and threat of force. And I'm not against the United States at all. Because I know some people are like, oh, you love China more than you love. No, it's not true. But the fact of the matter is, are we going to be good world citizens? We back out of all of the treaties for global warming and everything. What about that? We know that the weather patterns, they're trying to create weather. We know that the weather patterns are changing. We know that, the ice caps, at the top and the bottom of the earth are melting away. Stuff is breaking loose. All kind of stuff. There is global warming, whether you want to say yes it is or not. And then we got mankind saying, look, mankind is saying all of this stuff doesn't exist. Oh no, that doesn't exist, or there doesn't need to be anything done about it. Right? So what's the difference? Mankind, the Caucasian, versus humankind, the people that I told y'all about, those yellow people, the red people, the brown people, and the black people. That's humankind. That's humans. That's humanity. And then so we are constantly, it seems like, especially now, we're constantly at war with mankind because all they care about is money. The Chinese care about money, but in that equation, they also care about people. And they're not gonna start a war, and they're not gonna kill thousands of people. And even the whole thing with coronavirus, 500,000, over a half a billion, whatever it is, are dead. half a million, I'm sorry. More than that. Another, I guess, like another 35,000 on top of that. And what's really funny about it is that people just wanted some compassion. See, people are compassionate. Humankind is compassionate, and all they wanted from mankind is to show that compassion. And I tell and I've been on the soapbox telling everybody, Donald Trump would have got elected easily, if he had paid attention to coronavirus. If he had really put a concerted effort into trying to get the vaccines, into trying to, give people relief, the Republicans as well, trying to give people aid, trying to give people what they needed during the quarantine and the virus and everything like that. People are losing their, people, were about to lose their houses, they're losing their jobs, they're losing everything. And I agree with Bernie Sanders on the fact of, why should some people make billions? Jeff Bezos made billions. He's like worth triple-digit billions. Triple-digit billions, and he made them during the pandemic. And once again, if you have any knowledge of economics whatsoever, you know that when you take that much money from someplace, someplace is depressed. There's a recession or depression someplace else. And it may not just be an overt type of oppression or recession. It just may be people or certain groups of people. And those are and the same thing is true for this $15 minimum wage. You got to give people enough money to live. Because and the funny thing about it is, once again, going to economic principles, if you give people enough money to live, they'll spend money. But when they don't have any money to spend, they're not going to spend it. And then that creates an economic depression, which is across the entire economy. But but these people, they don't care. All they care about is their own thing. And the same thing was true, because the only thing that Trump did while he was in office that was any type of legislation was the tax cut for the rich, for the wealthy. And they got filthy rich. So what they're doing now, and the same thing is true. Filthy rich people, really poor people and filthy rich people don't spend money. They don't spend money. It doesn't. And once again, currency, circulation, all of those words come into play. There is no currency. There is nothing moving. There is no circulation of the money. One side is going, we got all the money and we don't want y'all to get it. And the other side is going, we ain't got no money, so we can't buy nothing anyway. But when this guy opens fire on these Asians, I like I said, it's not mutually exclusive. We getting beat up too. We got people putting their foot on our necks and all that kind of stuff too. So it's got to be, are you a good citizen of the world? Are you going to do right by humankind and by mankind? Are you going to do right by humankind and mankind? That's the whole thing. Not whether, and some people, they just want all of they want everything. Because how many, even if you got a private plane, a Lamborghini, a Rolls Royce, all the stuff that you want, everything, all the material things that you can have, but, big house, all that, but you can only have one. You can only use one at a time, right? And you have to, and I guess you have to look at it from the standpoint, you got to invest, at some point, you have to invest in people. Right? Jeff Bezos don't want to have unionized labor, in his warehouses. Why? Because that takes away from his money. Anyway, Fast 15 Minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons for me. But most of all, always hit the love button. Are you a good citizen of the world? Are you a good citizen of the world?